Good morning, everyone. I'm just filming a quick video just to kind of show you guys how to get started, how to work with the Connect system, and the expectations week to week. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. So as you guys can see, I've got the CSC Online pulled up, and I also have our Connect class pulled up. Now this is taking its sweet little time. Now, depending on the class, right? So I've got two classes right now, but it's really going to operate the same way. So I'm gonna upload these for both of the classes. But let's just say, for sake of example, we're in the survey class, right? The 130 class. So here's the weird thing. When I look at the survey class, I see something completely different than what you guys see, right? And so I'm going to walk you through how to find the assignments, how to get to the assignments in 1 second once this actually lets me go. Okay, cool. So this is the weird thing. I see everything like this, right? And everything kind of split up by week 1, week 2, week 3, right? And the way in which I assign you guys stuff is I assign you the learn smarts ahead of time, so that you can get familiarized with the concepts, right? So this first week, all we have is the first 2 learn smarts that are due on the 18th, right? And then the next week, and again, that's a Monday, not a Sunday, just to make your weekends a little less painful, right? And then on the next week, then we do have those Chapter 1, Chapter 2 quizzes. Again, they're due on the 25th, which is a Monday. So those are the quizzes going over the stuff that we're learning about this week, right? The limits, alternatives, and choices, and the market system and the circular flow. And then we're also going to be, reading and doing the Learn Smarts for Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and Chapter 5. Now, that's how it looks for me, right? If only the world were that simple. So this is how it looks for you guys. So the student view of it is different. And for whatever reason, it defaults by giving you the assignments that are due in the next 7 days. And so since a lot of the assignments, so even then, even this would be better, right? But in order to get to this, you have to do a couple things. So when you guys log into Connect, this is what you see, right? And you're like, oh, there's only 2 assignments due in the next 7 days. Where are the quizzes, right? A student emailed me and said, it took me forever to find the quizzes. Well, the way in which to really navigate and get to, the weeks of our class is you go to menu and you click on classes, and then you're going to click on the Econ 130 or the Econ 231 if you're in my macro class, right? That's where you're going to be able to then go ahead and look at the week view in a similar way that I'm able to look at it, right? So you see in the week 1, we've got Chapter 1 and 2 Learn Smart. We see that in week 2, we've got Chapter 1 and 2 Quiz. We've got Chapter 3, 4, and 5 Learn Smart, right? And you can start all of these by clicking on these arrows over here, right? So all of these are already open. Everything's been opened up for you 2 days ago, so you can go ahead and work ahead as much as you like. I've got no limitations on that. It's a self-paced kind of course, right? Speaking of, so how do we navigate in this course, right? Another student emailed and said, are there certain Zoom meetings that we're supposed to attend or something like that, right? And I mean, we could do that. And I've done that in the past. The problem is that essentially, 2 people show up, and then I end up just putting it on YouTube, and then I look at the YouTube statistics later, and like 8 people watched it, right? So it ends up being a lot of work and rigmarole and coordination for not a lot of payoff. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to be sending out, probably 2 different announcements throughout the week with links, right? Because here's the thing. This class. So we can go Khan Academy, and let's just do Survey of Economics real quick. So this class, the survey class, this micro class, this macro class, right? There is a ton of resources available. So here we got to go down to the economics stuff. And so not only are there, videos, there are also detailed kind of guides. There's some quizzes, right? So you can play these different videos. There's a lesson summary here, right? So you can go ahead and take a look at, if maybe videos aren't the best way for you to learn, might be better off taking a look at something that breaks it down here. And you got to keep in mind, this information is pretty universal, right? The economics that you're learning in the Survey of Economics book, the economics you're learning in the macroeconomics book through McGraw-Hill and Connect, it's the same economics that is being taught here in Khan Academy, right? So so feel free to use those resources that I'm going to go ahead and be linking to you guys in announcements throughout the semester. Now, the other thing that you have access to is you actually have access to, so if we go in here, so, well, let's take a step back. So we're in the class, what should we do? Well, the first thing, we've got the syllabus over here, right? And then you guys already have the syllabus because I've emailed it out to you. We're not going to go over the syllabus, but it's right here in case you need it, okay? The next thing that we can do is we can take a look at the course navigation, right? This should really be, where you go most of the time, right? You go into the class, then you go into the course navigation, then you find what week we are, right? And then within that particular week, you click on that, that's fine. We go into that week, and it tells us, okay, we've got a checklist here, we've got some PowerPoint presentations if we want, we've got, and then look, oh, we've got some intro unit videos, right? And so these are some videos from when I taught the class last year, right? And so, feel free to go ahead and take a look at those videos. There's more videos that are available on my YouTube channel. So I'll also post that in an announcement for you guys so that you can follow me there. And I will go ahead and make a new playlist for our Survey of Economics for the fall, or sorry, for the spring 8-week 1 2021. So I'll make a new playlist, and any kind of videos that you guys ask over email or whatever, I'll throw them up. I'll put them in an announcement. I'll link them in CSC Connect, and I'll also like this, and then I'll also put them on my YouTube channel. So might not be a bad idea to subscribe to that because I'm really just going to be posting educational stuff there. That should be helping your grade out in the end. So how do we navigate, right? So read chapters 1 and 2, watch the unit videos, intro forum, and then the week 1 forum, right? So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that, and then I will let you guys go because this video has probably been running a little bit too long already. So I put this thing in here about discussion post expectations because I had a lot of students that claimed ignorance about well, I didn't know what to do and stuff like that, right? And so what I do is I allow you guys one original and one response form to be treated as extra credit, right? Now, if you do all of them, it's just going to be the lowest score of 1. Now, part of the reason why I do this is because I'm holding you guys to a higher standard of quality in terms of your writing, a higher standard of quality in terms of the relevance of the content that you're posting in the forums for my class, right? So I'm giving you, one extra credit or optional or drop or whatever you talk about, and then also I'm letting you guys redo posts. So if I give you a really bad score on a forum post, all you need to do is send me an email, to discuss why we had the post. Ideally, we would have a little Zoom chat or something, right? But if your schedule doesn't allow it, that's totally fine. Send me an email. We'll discuss why your post wasn't up to my standards. Redo the post. I'll regrade the post. All right, it's not a huge deal. So if you do get a bad score on a forum post, don't worry about it. You have a drop. You can redo it. Just communicate with me. There's a reason why that it was graded so poorly or you earned such a poor grade. And so the best way that I found after 10 years of teaching in order to actually get this stuff through to you guys is to have you redo it after a conversation. So that's just the way it is. With regards to the original and response posts, 1 to 2 well-developed paragraphs, right? Don't often see this, economy of words and all that. If you can answer it in less, that's fine, but often you cannot, right? So that's a pretty good, rule, touchstone, right? About 1 to 2 paragraphs. I want you to consult the literature. I want you to search in Google News. I want you to look through your textbook. I want you to find different sources for different discussion points, right? If you're making a statement, I want you to say that. If you're talking about research, I want you to back it up by factual sources, right? So I really want you to reach beyond the textbook for some information. Everybody's already going to have read the textbook. Right now, if you can interpret the textbook in a new way, then that's fine. But I really, really, really would like to see you guys go beyond that to increase everyone's learning opportunities, right? Because with those forums, when you bring in extra sources, when you bring in extra material, you're enriching the learning not just for yourself, but for everybody else in the class, right? If you have any questions about the formatting and citations and stuff like that, right? The Online Writing Center at Purdue University is a really, really great resource. I highly suggest you use it. They talk all about how APA format and style guides, right? And so they give you a lesson on it. I believe there's a writing center also on campus that will help you out with that as well. Now, the initial forum posts aren't really that big of a deal. It's the response posts. And I know you guys know this. I know you guys have done it. I've done it, right? Where you're like, oh, Cindy, I agree with what you said. It's so tragic. And that's crazy about that one thing. And I wrote that about in my post too. Like, that is not an acceptable response post, right? Is it adding anything to the conversation? Okay, so I have a detailed thing here talking about how it must be meaningful. So it's got to go beyond agreeing with, complimenting, restating, right? It has to add some new information. It has to add a new explanation. It has to redefine something. It has to have a new example from the literature that wasn't previously brought up. Now you can talk about your own experience, right? And some real good forum responses are anecdotal in nature, right? And you can also, pose an answer to a question, right? If that question didn't receive a response, if somebody was confused by something either in the original post or in a response post, you can respond and answer to that. And as long as that answer is, well substantiated, supported, makes some sense, then that's a qualifying forum response as well. All right, so please put your best foot forward. I don't know why this says there are no additional attempts. I will allow you to redo them. So I'll go ahead and change that. So if you mess up your forum responses and stuff like that, again, same policy. Got to have email conversation with me. Got to have a Zoom talk or a phone call or something with me. Talk about your response posts. You redo your response posts. I regrade your response posts. We move on. Trying to think of anything else that we should really be going over. I mean, we can take a look in the forums, and depending on what class you are, you might have an intro forum or you might just have a week 1 forum, but regardless, you're always going to have this virtual office and discussion space, right? So, maybe there's some question that, you think another student might be able to answer, right? Or maybe there's a question that you want to ask me that you think other students, would really benefit from too, right? Maybe you've been talking to some other students and they're also confused, right? If you post it in this virtual office and discussion space, then my answer becomes public for everybody, right? So, always feel free to email me and let me know, any questions, concerns that you guys might have, any confusions that you might have. But also feel free to use this discussion space online as kind of a commons in a way. So yeah, so if we go to macroeconomics, we will see that it has a virtual office and discussion space just as well. All right, so I think that's pretty much it for right now. Like I said, I'm going to be sending you guys links to, both Khan Academy, and then there's also this guy, Mr. Clifford, who is amazing. He's a AP calculus or AP economics teacher, and he is he's great. He's very entertaining. All of the resources that you guys find for AP Macro, AP Microeconomics are going to be the same. Stop. Are going to be the same, right? And so if you see anything that says AP Micro, AP Macro, it's exactly equivalent to our principles of macro, principles of micro, or whatever. So like I said, I'll be sending out links to different videos, sending out links to different resources. If there is something that I can't find on a video or you guys can't find on a video, please don't hesitate to email me and let me know. Um,